Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great morning and welcome back. Today is very special because we have a live studio audience. That's right. And one very lucky audience member is going to be helping me right up here behind the table. Today's episode is all about Wibbly Wobbly Jelly, a party favourite and fun for all the family. Let's start with a brief introduction to what makes jelly so special and important, and then I'll get on with the recipe. Who invented jelly, you ask? Well, that depends how wobbly your definition is. The use of gelatin in recipes began in ancient Egypt over 2 millennia ago. Made from bone broth and used for preserving meats and fish. Fast forward a millennia to the Anglo-Saxon times, and we see the word jelly actually mentioned in manuscript. But their recipe involved boiling hog and hen meat in white wine for several hours. The first time historians found evidence of jelly as a sweet treat or dessert was in the Middle Ages, where it's coloured and flavoured with saffron or the juice of pressed violets. Come the Renaissance, and sweet jelly has been mastered, and it was an absolute staple of the royal banquet. And the moulds themselves were designed to impress. Animals, castles, flowers, fruits, any shape could be made, a symbol of riches and extravagance, and even prescribed as medicine. In 1900, under Queen Victoria, jelly arrived in the packaged cubes that we recognise. This finally made jelly an achievable dream for the middle class. Wedding, funeral, any occasion called for a jelly. And after the Second World War, jelly wobbled its way into working class homes. Hartley's jelly cubes are one of the cheapest dessert options, and trifle took the nation by storm. Cookbooks and TV presenters were obsessed. But 20 years on, 1990, and jelly is falling out of fashion. A symbol of housewifery. Jelly has fallen from palace tables to wake buffet to school dinner plate. And that's where it has stayed. A birthday party staple, but no more. Well, that was a history of the decline of jelly. How about I show you today's recipe? So, this is a super simple recipe and I have all of the ingredients laid out in front of me. So what we're going to be using today is just a cup of water, a fruit. It can be any fruit of your choice, so it could be tinned or fresh, but today we're using a selection of fruit cocktail and peach slices. And we're going to use some vanilla extract, some sprinkles, some food colouring, and one gelatin sheet, very important, some icing sugar and some milk. Now I'm using soya milk, but it can be any milk of your choice. Equipment wise, all we need is 2 bowls, a sieve, some cutlery, a measuring spoon and a blender, and we're good to go. Let's get started. We're just going to pop our gelatin sheet into the bowl, nice and simple, and pour in 1 cup of piping hot water. It's very important that this is piping hot. Pour that in there and we're just going to let that sit for a second. And then we're going to get measuring. So we need some icing sugar. Oh, let's do the milk first. So we're actually going to need 150 millilitres of soya milk. So if we just put this into the bowl, nice and easy, make sure that it's nicely measured. And then we're going to put in 50 grams of icing sugar. So you can just sort of eyeball this, like around the right amount is just perfect. Give that a little mix. And then we're going to add in our fruit. So this is some fruit cocktail. So I think it doesn't matter too much how much you use. It's all about the flavour. So it's however flavoursome you'd like your jelly to be. So just get all of that in there. Just like to get some of the more colourful bits because all of the colour is coming from this. So just pop that in there. And then we're going to get a little dash of vanilla extract. Pop that in. There we go, lovely. And I think it's time to put it in the blender. It's nice to give it a little pre-mix, just so that it all can get mingled together before we put it in the blender. Now we just want to put all of that into our blender. So if we just get a big ladle or a big spoon will also work, and we're just going to put all of this into the blender. I'm using a big blender, but I'm sure a smaller one would be just as good. We just want to make sure that everything's nice and tightly secured, and then pop the lid on there, and then just whiz all that together. It really helps if you turn your blender on. Okay, so while that's blending, we're going to sort out the rest of our ingredients. So we're going to go back to our gelatin. We just want to take our gelatin sheet and make sure that it's nice and wobbly. We need it to have this really lovely, like wobbly texture. And we're just going to squeeze all that we can out of that into the main bowl. And then we're going to take 1 spoon of water from the bowl, which has the gelatin in, and put it in here. Sometimes I like to do 2. It doesn't really matter. It depends how good quality your gelatin is. And this blending can take a couple of minutes. You want to make sure it's nice and smooth. We are going to sieve it afterwards, but it is so much better if we can get it super smooth. I've got a really great blender, and that really helps. I mean, a bad quality blender's just never going to blend that well. So yeah, let's just get started and mix these things all together. Here we can just combine both of those ingredients. There we go. That's lovely. Just give that a little stir. Yum. Now that our mix is nice and blended together, we're just gonna take all of the blender bits and bobs out, and we're gonna sieve it straight into the bowl which has our gelatin in. So the reason we're sieving it is because we want it to be nice and smooth. No one wants a bitty jelly. So we're just gonna pour it right through here, and then make sure that you get your hands in and just like smooth it in. You see all those lovely bits that are coming out, we wouldn't have wanted those in there. So just keep going, push it through. There we go, make sure it's all going through the sieve. Lovely. And this is our bowl, so we're just gonna give that one final mix, combining all of our ingredients. And this is the stage where we can add a little extra food colouring if we'd like. Now, I actually think this is a lovely colour of orange, so I don't think I'm going to, but I just wanted to say this is the point where you'd put that in. Now our jelly mix is ready to go. Where's our lucky audience member? And this is our guest from the audience today. Come on up. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
My name's Evan.
Amazing. And where have you come from today, Evan?
I've come from Leeds, in Yorkshire.
Wow, that's a long way to come. You must be a big fan.
I'm a very big fan, yeah.
Amazing. Okay, and you're going to be helping me with the decorating stage. So this is really important to make sure your jelly impresses. You have to make sure that you've put lots of decorations inside the main jelly. Oh, I'm forgetting one thing. Sorry, just get this out. So the first step, which you can do for me, is to spray the inside of your jelly mould. So whichever one you prefer, which one would you like to use?
I like this gold coloured one.
Lovely choice. If you could just spray all of the inside of that. Great. This is an olive oil spray, but any frying, air fryer spray will do. Just give it a nice even coating. This is just to make sure that your jelly is nice and evenly easy to get out, so you can just give it a little tap and it will just come out. Thank you. Yeah, that's great. And I'll be using this one today. So I made these jelly molds using a vacuum former, and they're custom made, which obviously I understand not everyone will be able to do, but it is nice to think about the mold shape and just keep it that way up. That'd be great. And we have some decorations. So these are all very authentic decorations. We've got some cucumber flowers, some olives, some raisins, and some strawberries. So if you'd like to begin, these molds have some nice indents, and it's nice to say, like, put an olive in the indent and like arrange it in a way that you're thinking about what it's going to look like when it's out of the mold, not what it looks like against the background of the mold. You've got to kind of think 2 steps ahead of yourself here. So yeah, I'm just going to pop some of these cucumber flowers here around the outside. That's looking lovely, Evan.
Thanks.
So do you have any, have you ever made a jelly before?
I've never made a jelly, but I've often thought about making jam. I don't know how similar that is.
I wouldn't say it's very similar. Probably a topic for another episode.
Yeah.
Because jam, it's got completely different ingredients actually, and it does set in the fridge. Well, this was like icing sugar.
Oh, yeah.
And this is more of a dessert. I'd say jam's more of a spread.
Yeah. You're right, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that.
But yeah, it's nice to make sure that the inside, and it's good to take your time here. So
how's that?
I say could put a bit more. Let's get some of these strawberries in there.
Okay.
Lovely. And I've kept the leafy heads of the strawberries because really you don't have to have entirely edible ingredients in your jelly. It can be quite fun. You can just be fun with it, and you can just put some things in, like some flowers. And remember that jelly can be a centerpiece. It doesn't have to be a dessert. So yeah, I think those are looking lovely. That's great. Thank you, Evan.
So do I leave it?
Yeah, just if you could take your seat back in the audience, that was perfect. Thank you so much. Can we have a round of applause for Evan? Now we've decorated our moulds, there's only one step left to follow. We're just going to pour our jelly right in. It's important to just get a nice thin layer at the beginning, or all of our decorations are going to float up to the top. So you just want to pour in just enough that it covers all of those toppings, but not enough that they start floating. So we've got a nice amount in there. And then we're just going to pop that in the fridge to set for a couple of hours. So the last stage of your jelly is to pop them in the fridge for 2 to 3 hours. So that's what we've done, and it means unfortunately we won't get to see any of today's creations. But luckily I have one that I made earlier. Oh, it's looking like I made it quite a bit earlier. That's okay though. We're gonna just flip this over. So the flipping technique is really important. You just have to make sure that something I've maybe not done right here is that the plate is bigger than the mould. That's a very good tip, but we're gonna work with what we've got today. So we're just gonna have one hand on the top, one hand on the bottom, and flip like that. That was a lovely sound. And we just give it a little tap. Make sure that it's coming out really nicely. And there we have it. That's what your jelly is going to look like. We've got some lovely clear defined layers. It's a little bit of liquid, but you can just wipe that up before you serve. I think it's looking great. Remember to serve with sprinkles, cream, some fresh fruit, and enjoy.
Oh, is that the one with the oil in? Woo! Woo! I love this show! I love this show! I hate the sound.
Okay, that's great. That's just lovely.